In Schupa, on the shores of the White Sea, I get the opportunity to go diving with a beluga whale named Vara. The Latin name for this species is Delphinaturus, meaning dolphin without fins, because they have no dorsal fins. Some scientists think this makes it easier for them to swim under the ice. Vara has been isolated for the purposes of research. In the spring, she will be joined by them and allowed to develop in more agreeable surroundings, and eventually, I hope, be released back into the sea.
Maria, you know, for me it's a bit surprising to find the beluga in captivity. Is it unique? Because I never saw that.
No, she's not the only one. Beluga whales adapt extremely well to living in captivity, and they live a long time. They are the friendliest, most peaceful and slowest of dolphins. That is why they are so great with divers. Some dolphins are more reticent when they come into contact with humans, but beluga whales don't hold back. They are much more communicative than some other dolphins, and their rhythms suit those of humans.
Время течет, ну, примерно как у человека.
Vara is a 3-year-old beluga whale. Beluga whales are born grey, and then they grow lighter with age. The young females become adults between the ages of 5 and 7, and for the males between 6 and 9. They turn completely white when they reach sexual maturity. As adults, they can weigh up to 1.5 tons.
The historical relationship between men and beluga in the Arctic Russian.
Arctic Russia is mainly populated by indigenous people, such as the Chukchis or Yakuts. A beluga whale would feed a whole village.
Could we say that beluga is the reindeer of the sea?
No, beluga whales are not really like a reindeer, because reindeer are semi-domesticated. Humans and reindeer have a symbiotic relationship because humans help reindeer and reindeer feed humans. Beluga whales are wild, independent animals who have no need of humans.
I never imagined that a cetacean would be so eager to approach a human being. Of course, they are naturally gregarious, sociable creatures because they live in groups. This one has been living in isolation for several months now, so she's probably a bit lonely. She's waiting for some other beluga whales to join her as part of a scientific research program. It's quite touching, seeing her look at me, call to me, and invite me into her world. I'm back on the reindeer trail, and I'm just entering Sami territory. These indigenous people have always placed reindeer at the center of their culture. There's nothing like a bit of hitchhiking to help me reach these Laplanders still living in the heart of the peninsula.
Why you go to Lavozero?
I go to Lavozero because there is the reindeer. Reindeer race, you know? The racing.
I go to Lavozero too.
Okay, for the... Okay.
If you want, I have in Lavozero, I have a friend. I can give you some contacts and you call him and maybe he help you.
Okay.
He, before racing.
I was doing racing with the reindeer?
Yes.
Okay, that's good news.
Here I am in reindeer country, at last. I even have the number of a sleigh driver in Lavozero. But first, a more modest encounter on the edge of a remote forest. Wow, I can see the track down there. I'm not equipped like a reindeer. Reindeer hooves are like snowshoes, so they don't sink into the snow. I can see the smoke rising over there. That must be where they're waiting for me. I'll never get there. Okay, good. I can see something over there. This is great.
Здравствуйте. Ульяна, Remy.
Is this it?
Uh-huh.
Reindeer farmers Boris and Juliana welcome me into their home. There are reindeer everywhere, which is great because I can't wait to finally get close to them. This is a crazy world. There are people still carving out a life for themselves in the tundra. It's still possible.
C'est encore possible. C'est la famille.
The Russian Hat Brigade. We're off to see reindeer. This is great. When it's too hilly, he says, "Get out. I'll drive down on my own and you can follow." Nice. Amazing. It's funny how close they come. They're almost like pets, but reindeer are not completely domesticated. Talk about reindeer being domesticated, but actually they soon reacclimatize into the wild. If we set these reindeer free, within a few days they'd return to the forest. The females keep their antlers long into the season. The males lose theirs in the winter and the females keep theirs until June, so they can protect their young from predators. Juliana and Boris actually lost some reindeer fawns they were rearing to stray dogs and bears. They are not that heavy. The females can weigh less than 100 kilograms. They are small members of the deer family, but they are adapted to the tundra.
What do they give to them as a food?
This is reindeer lichen. It's funny because it grows in France too. You find it in Brittany, in the peat bogs, but it's called reindeer lichen. It's not a plant, it's a cross between a fungus and a plant. That's a major part of their diet here in the tundra. The tundra has been stripped of part of its grassland, and the ground underneath is permanently frozen. It's known as permafrost. This is the only foodstuff they will find under the snow. It tastes of moss. Outwardly reserved, my hosts are the perfect inhabitants of the far north. Behind their reserve lies a big heart and a real love of reindeer and nature, and they live a simple, abstemious life.
You have a relationship with your reindeers, a bit like parents and children.
Yes, we give them milk from a bottle. We mollycoddle them so much that I can't leave them. Sometimes passers-by see fawns sleeping in our bed.
A reindeer sleeping here?
They can't believe it. In our bed.
This is partly why I'm doing this, and why I come on these trips. I wanted to meet animal farmers the world over, to explore the relationship between humans and nature through animals. These emotions are exactly the same as I experienced thousands of kilometers away. Here we are, having a coffee together, sharing a few photos and talking about our emotions, which are the same. Frustration in the face of death. Pleasure in bringing new life into the world and contributing to it, and our sometimes indescribably close relationships with animals. I find it fascinating how every farmer I meet tells me the same stories I've experienced in different circumstances. Rearing animals doesn't mean owning them. It means taking care of them, observing them, and accepting them. These people have been so welcoming to a stranger like me, who has reared animals which are completely different to theirs. People who live with animals and grow to love and respect them will always understand one another. I've been picked up by Zhenya and her friend Alexis, who are both reindeer keepers. They round up the reindeer and sort them out. Apparently, they have a surprise for me. Here, the only way to cross the tundra in winter is on a snow bike. The trip is going to take several hours, so I need to wrap up warm.
Faut bien se
I'm
calmer.
hoping we'll see some wildlife.
Et en général, on voit des animaux, on voit des trucs. Ça, c'est le
That's a ptarmigan, otherwise known as a snow partridge. It's a member of the chicken family. The Latin name is lagopus, meaning hare's foot. This ptarmigan's feet are covered in feathers. It's beautiful. And in summer it is brown. Its feathers change colour.
Приз.
Здравствуйте.
Реми.
Очень приятно. Реми.
Володя.
Очень приятно.
Надя.
Реми. Nice to meet you. Whoa!
Откуда у вас такие вот здесь? А?
C'est quoi ça? What is that?
Это малица.
Those are our winter clothes.
Да у нас такая зимняя. Очень выгодная штука.
They make clothes out of reindeer skins.
And this, what is it?
Это лоб.
It's a reindeer's forehead.
Голова. Лоб.
It's for the boots.
So the people here dress in reindeer skins from head to toe. It's lined with leather.
Là, c'est le cuir doublé. You made it?
Нет, это...
No, the women in the village made it. It's like a second skin for them. The reindeer keeper's house is amazing. It's lovely how they live in such close contact with the reindeer. They love them and protect them, but they use them too. They have no qualms about skinning them and using their skins and their meat and their milk. There is a symbiotic relationship between humans and animals. It's beautiful and becoming quite rare in this world.
It's not common to see people living that close to animals.
У каждого своя...
There's nothing extraordinary about it. It's a way of life and a job for me. I've worked here for 25 years, and I've got no complaints.
Не жалуюсь.
You're very courageous.
Why courageous? There's nothing to be afraid of here. The bears hibernate and there are no wolves. They're asleep now. But they won't wake up until April. There have been more of them these past few years, and they're much more cunning than they used to be.
Стали более хитрые.
C'est marrant.
It's funny because here I am in Lapland in Russia, and the stories I'm hearing remind me of the stories from my ancestors in the Pyrenees. Several centuries ago, life in the mountains and in remote areas of France resembled life here today. There are lots of bears here, and bears are dangerous. They say they are getting ever craftier, making off with their baby reindeer, which are their livelihood. Humans live off reindeer here. They say the bears are a curse and that they have to fight them, and yet they live among them.
Do you think we can go to see the reindeer?
Да.
Да?
We're going to leave the Isba, pick up Zhenya, and go to see the reindeer.
Okay?
The reindeer have been here. You can see their hoof prints in the snow and their antler prints from where they bent down to reach the lichens.
Pour atteindre les lichens.
Ah, reindeer, yes! They call them and they come. Here is the first one now, the leader. They have brought treats for them.
Vladimir Lomoren.
Vladimir, the reindeer man. So crazy, so crazy. Thousands of reindeer. This is my holy grail.
C'est le Graal.
Amazing.
Incroyable. C'est énorme.
These are real tundra reindeer. It's incredible. Wait,
C'est ça. Ok. C'est hallucinant. Hallucinant. Attends. Tiens.
they're a bit shy, and yet they want to come over. Incredible.
C'est énorme.
White reindeer are shorter and a bit fatter. Brown reindeer are definitely closer to the phenotype of the first wild reindeer, which were brown.
Reine sauvage originelle. Plutôt brun.
This one is less than a year old. Reindeer fawns aren't born with speckled coats like roe deer. When they are born, they are the colour of the tundra. Half cream and half dark grey and brown. You can see the antlers starting to push through on the animal, which is less than a year old. Amazing. And those feet, which are so well adapted to the terrain with their broad hooves. Adapting to the cold makes reindeer stockier and more short-legged. It stops them losing heat. There used to be reindeer in France. They were painted on cave walls by prehistoric men. There was even an age of the reindeer that had nothing to do with Sami culture. It was the Magdalenian. Reindeer were so central to human civilization back then that the period was named after them. As with the Samis today, reindeer played a huge role in the culture of our French ancestors when the climate was so much colder there. Reindeer are sociable creatures and are often found in large groups, which allows them to confront predators and migrate in the event of harsh weather conditions. Like a silvery brown wave following its instinct, watching the herd ripple and swirl is enough to make your head spin. Vladimir? It's deep here.
C'est quoi ça? What is that?
Do you see? Like this. My first lesson in lassoing. I can, in Sami. It's miles away. I'm getting closer. You didn't throw it right.
Allez!
That's it.
Eh?
No, not like that. It's funny. These guys aren't 15 anymore, but they're loving this.
Ils ont pas 15 ans, quoi. Ils adorent ce... Ah ouais, pas mal.
Not bad.
Ouais. Non.
They love being in contact with the reindeer, feeling their strength.
Yes. Okay. Do you think that in, I don't know, in 30 years, the culture of the reindeer will survive? How do you see this future?
I think the culture will survive here. We keep traditions alive and honour memories. However, I know that in Finland and Norway, they no longer use reindeer for transport. So they've asked us to teach them how to make sleighs and tame reindeer. There's nothing to beat reindeer on snow. They can go where cars and snow bikes can't. They can swim and cross any terrain.
For Laplanders, it seems reindeer will always rule. Whatever is going on elsewhere in the world, they will not change. The Isba may look austere, but kindliness reigns. A wooden cube in the tundra makes the perfect den for men, women, and reindeer to share. Not far away, Nadezhda, one of the last Sami shamans, is in a frenzy. I meet her between the snow and the flames. What does this Sami soul have to say about what links humans to the nature surrounding them?
Was it what you call a conversation with spirits of the forest?
Yes, it's a dialogue with several types of spirit. With the spirit of nature, with the spirit of fire, with the spirit of the forest, with your spirit, with the spirit of the universe, with all these spirits.
Do you feel that what nature enriches you and feeds your soul in some way?
No, it's not that it enriches me. We live in harmony with nature. Samis don't seek to be enriched. Our lives are dedicated to knowledge. We seek to acquire superior knowledge.
Nadezhda, you know me, I came here in your country, in your place, in order to discover the link between man and nature through the animal, and particularly the reindeer. Which advice would you give me to reach my objective.
You need to make sure it is reciprocal and an exchange. You cannot keep taking without giving anything back, otherwise nature will destroy you.
I have taken note of Nadiejda's advice, and I'm going to leave her to her incantations, which will, I hope, bring good luck to the sleigh drivers and reindeer competing in the Festival of the North. It's the final day of my trip, and I've come to the suburbs of Lovazero to meet Andre, a sleigh driver competing in the reindeer race who was recommended to me. Quite a few reindeer farmers must live here.
Андрей, здравствуйте. Реми, как дела? Wow, breakfast.
I get to sample a Nordic breakfast. Meanwhile, Andre, it has to be said, is not in the chattiest of moods. He's probably preoccupied with today's events.
You think the weather is okay for today, for the race to happen?
The weather is fine today. There's no snow or wind. It's just cold.
Okay.
It's time to go.
Okay, let's go. Okay. Thank you. Very good salmon in the morning.
It's quite bumpy. Andre is going to fetch his reindeer. They've spent the night here before today's race. We're about to see how they spend the night. We're finally going to see some racing reindeer.
On va enfin voir les vraies reines de course. Bon.
Apparently, this is where reindeer spent the night. It's funny. These are gregarious animals who roam in herds by day, but at night they split up, staying in sight of one another, but taking a tree each in this forest on the edge of the plain. Andre tells me that reindeer only suffer from the cold at -40. Anything above that, and they're fine.
Why don't you use gloves? Because me, I am very cold. You don't feel the cold?
It's not easy with gloves on. And no, I'm not cold.
Of course, Samis don't feel the cold. They were born here. They are children of the tundra. They make everything by hand. Leather, decorations, sleighs. They are outstanding craftsmen. Animals are decorated in many different cultures, whether it's elephants in Southeast Asia, camels, dromedaries, horses, or reindeer here. We love decorating animals. We put nice colours on our dogs and braids in our horses' tails, and here the reindeers wear colourful harnesses, collars and beads. I can see lots of little beads. This is all part of reindeer culture. And he's off! He's off! He's off! He's off! I can't ride alongside Andre or the reindeer will get tired, so I'm going to take a snow bike and meet him in the village. Back in town, I leave Andre and his reindeer to get into the right frame of mind for the race. I take the opportunity to wander around the market, a stone's throw away from the racetrack. This is incredible. It's as if everyone is here to celebrate reindeer. There are reindeer toys, reindeer skins, and all sorts of reindeer kebabs for sale. There's even tinned reindeer, so there must be a reindeer farm here in Lovazero. They have every style of reindeer antlers here. Isn't that incredible? It's crazy. They have so much reindeer memorabilia. There are lucky charms and pendants. This one is a slice of reindeer antler edged with reindeer skin, with the Lap flag on it. It's not bad. It's been marinated. The taste is somewhere between pork and mutton. Reindeer races are sacred for Samis. They spend the whole day having fun and watching the races start, usually with their families.
And is it normal that people doesn't shout that much? It's to not disturb the reindeer, or to not like disturb the pilots, or?
Reindeer are not like cars. With a car, you remain in control. Reindeer are wild animals, so they are unpredictable. Driving them is always a challenge because they can break away at any moment during the race and just run off.
This is it. The start of the race has been announced. The reindeer are on tenterhooks, their eyes shining, their skin trembling, and their muscles contracted. It's as if a whole herd was preparing to suddenly gallop off into the tundra. Andre has arrived. I'm going to see how he did in his race. They don't all start at once, but they're up against the clock, all trying to beat the record. He's off. Andre? I'm going to see where Andre came in the race because I can see he's looking a bit crestfallen. She's about to announce his time.
Andre, number 8, finished his race in 2 minutes, 42 seconds.
He came second. I think he'll be a bit disappointed with that. But there you go. That's the rule. The fastest wins. Andre, second place isn't bad. Oh, he's disappointed. No wonder. They came here to win after all. Last year he came first. He got all the honours. In some cultures, it's all just folklore, and the attitude is, it's all about the taking part. We're keeping traditions alive. Here, it's not like that. You take part to win. You want your reindeer to be the best. The Festival of the North. Well done, Andre. The Sami people are like winter in Lapland. Cold initially, sometimes even frosty, like snow to the touch. But fascinating and warm once you spend a bit of time by their frosty sides. Like their reindeer, they are semi-wild, but once they come out of their shells, they are as tame as anything. I think I ended up being adopted by these northerners.